Okay, I think I had lost my connection. I hope I am live back now. Yeah, it seems it's okay now. Sorry for that. These devices just stop working at times. So just waiting for people to join in. So those of you who have not seen the first part of this video, because now I'm forced to do this in two parts. It's a slightly long session because I'm doing this analysis for each of the sections. Coming back, as I was saying, these were the bands of verbal in last year's section. The verbal bands were this: 11 to 12 से 45 के बीच में तुम्हारा 50 percentile, 70 percentile, 80, 90, etc. था. So as people join in, let's just continue what we are discussing. So verbal में the factors that would verbal was one factor that will push your scores up this year in the VRC section. So the band will get pushed up, because in verbal last year there were 4 easy questions per slot around, and this year there are around 6 easy questions and a couple of questions which are moderately difficult. So that I mean उतना भी ये pushing force उतना high नहीं है, because summary similar थे. लास्ट ईयर का समरी, इस साल का समरी मोर और लेस सिमिलर है. पैराजम्बल्स और ऑड मैन आउट का रीडिंग एस्पेक्ट थोड़ा इजी था. लास्ट ईयर में थोड़ा टफर था, ऑल्दो 2019 में वो और भी ज़्यादा टफर था, राइट. सो माई प्रेडिक्शन लास्ट ईयर वर ऑलमोस्ट डिटो, एंड आई एम जस्ट एक्सप्लेनिंग द रीज़न. आई मीन इट्स नॉट, एज आई सेड, इट्स नॉट सम क्लियरवॉयंस ऑन माई पार्ट or some extra vision. I just am doing hard fact-based analysis and gut feel based decisions about whether that band is going to go up or down. So that's the reason. The process is what will give you the right value. So if you apply this process, you will also be able to work out what happened. So verbal ko dekho to I think the parajumbles wala part easier tha. The summaries I felt was similar difficulty level as last year. So summary पे उतना push up नहीं कर रहा है, but because the parajumbles were easier, the odd man out was slightly easier. The verbal is pushing the score up, the score band up by maybe 2-3 marks, but then that is offset by the fact that in DILR, in comprehension RC, DILR is dominating everybody's mind. So RC में there were 2 difficult reads in this year's exam in each one. Slot 1 में I am told there are 2 very difficult reads. Slot 2 I have not talked to many people, but slot 1 I know that there are 2 very difficult reads, 2 easy reads, 2 normal reads. So दो पार्ट होता है. RC difficult कितना होता है उसका, एक है रीडिंग द पैसेज कितना मुश्किल था, और दूसरा है क्वेश्चंस कितने डीप थे और उसके ऑप्शंस कितने क्लोज थे. 3 फैक्टर्स होते हैं. तो क्वेश्चंस का डेप्थ एंड ऑप्शंस were kind of similar to last year in that sense. That's what I felt. But the difficulty in reading was accentuated in two RC passages, whereas last year it was accentuated only in 1 RC passage. अगर slots देखो last year का, तो you have one difficult RC read and 3 normal reads, normal topics के बारे में. So that is, so typically the difficult read is about something about philosophy or something like that. तो वो यहाँ पे 2 वैसे थे in every slot. So 2 difficult reads. So this factor is pushing the score down. And then there's another very important factor that's pushing the score down. Ki last year the RCs were 4-4, 4-4, 5-5. So if you solve 2 RCs, it is possible that you solve 10 questions, or you solve 9 questions also. Right? Of course, it was also possible that you solved these 2 and did only 8 questions. But it was also possible that you got 9 or 10. This year, the 4 RCs were 4-4, 4-4. So you did all the work in the RC, but you got only 4 questions in that. So 1 question कम मिल रहा है तुमको on an average. अगर किसी ने 4-5 किया है तो तुमने तो यहाँ पे तुमको कोई ऑप्शन नहीं, 4-4 ही करोगे, तो एक क्वेश्चन तुमने कम एक क्वेश्चन में एक स्कोरिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी लेस है. So automatically that is obviously going to push the score down there. So all said and done, I think these factors are a slightly stronger factor than this factor, because this factor is working only on 2 or 3 questions on the VA part. It's not across all the questions. Summaries, as I told you, are more or less similar to last year. So given this, I think the band, the overall push of the band will be a slightly lower band. So this is your band for last year, and I'm doing this also because somebody commented, and I do read all your comments on all my videos. Maybe I'm not able to react to each one of them, but I do read every comment. So 2 comments I would like to react to. Somebody had written that I am only talking about the toppers and from the toppers perspective. That's why I said that I'll do a deeper analysis. So I would think that these bands will go down by around 2. I mean, this is a gut feel now. So it is going down. If my gut feel is right, I would think that this band is going down by around 2 marks across this thing. So you can actually subtract 2 on each of these numbers. So some people had asked me कि 20 के आसपास स्कोर कर रहा हूँ, स्क्रैप कर सकता हूँ क्या, 80 परसेंटाइल आ जाएगा क्या? सो पॉसिबल है. अगर ये 2 मार्क्स डाउन हो जाता है तो 20 मार्क्स पे इट्स पॉसिबल, राइट? The other factor here of course is again अगर 99 वाला बैंड देखोगे तो 42 मार्क्स पे लास्ट ईयर है, तो इस साल हो सकता है 40 के आसपास आ जाए. कभी कभी ये गट फील गलत हो सकता है. सो दैट इज़ समथिंग आई विल टेक द लाइसेंस ऑफ समबडी हुज डूइंग दिस फॉर यू कि मैं गलत भी हो सकता हूँ इसमें. तो देयर इज़ अ पॉसिबिलिटी, बट आई थिंक दैट्स अ स्मॉल पॉसिबिलिटी बिकॉज मेरा गट फील इज़ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग अबाउट दिस कि इट्स गोइंग डाउन. दो क्वेश्चन लेस इन द पेपर इज बाय डिफॉल्ट रिड्यूसिंग योर मार्क्स, बट देयर कुड बी अ केस वेयर द बैंड इज़ द सेम. ऊपर जाने का पॉसिबिलिटी मेरे को बहुत कम लग रहा है बैंड का. वेरी वेरी लिटिल पॉसिबिलिटी दैट द बैंड इज गोइंग अप. ठीक है. सो दिस इज माय एनालिसिस अबाउट वर्बल. नाउ लेट्स लुक एट द सेम थिंग्स फॉर डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन लॉजिकल रीजनिंग. Let's let's look at the DILR bands. So these are some numbers that I got on the score sheets that I collected, the 8-10 score sheets. 8 marks to 56 percentile tha last year. 3 question nahi log. That means 1,80,000 people gave CAT last year. 90,000 people could not do 3 questions correct in the DILR section. 90%. So the noise will come from there. The noise never comes from the higher numbers. The higher numbers on the next slide. I'll just come to that. So जब तुम सुनते हो all the noise, you have to cut out the noise and then you have to start thinking logically कि what do you think happened, right? So 8 marks पे only 30% people got 1 set correct last year. 1 full set correct. अगर किसी ने 1 full set correct किया और कुछ नहीं किया पेपर में, DILR में 4 क्वेश्चन के 6 सेट्स थे लास्ट ईयर, 1 full set करेक्ट किया और कुछ नहीं किया, he did not touch any other set, 70 percentile, right? Let's look at the other numbers. 2 full sets, you got 4 questions के 2 full sets. Sorry, कल लास्ट ईयर 5 सेट थे, 4 6 and 4. 2 full sets किसी ने किया, 4 वाले. And you know the last year, I mean if you look at all the sets, इस साल के DILR फैक्टर्स में 6 क्वेश्चंस जो था हर पेपर में, वो 6 क्वेश्चन का जो सेट था वो 20 से 25 मिनट वाला सेट था, जो कि उन्होंने पहले कभी नहीं दिया है. दे हैव ऑलवेज गिवन 10-12 मिनट सेट्स इन द पास्ट. सो लॉट ऑफ पीपल वर ओनली, आई मीन मोस्ट पीपल वर प्लेइंग फ्रॉम 14 क्वेश्चंस ओनली. बट लास्ट ईयर पेपर में इफ यू गॉट 2 sets, only 2 sets done, you are getting 94 percentile in DILR, just 2 sets. You choose out of the 6 sets, out of 5 sets, you choose the 2 which you are most comfortable with, get them correct, 20-20 मिनट में दोनों कर लो, you're getting 94 percentile last year. Don't touch anything else, you're getting 94 percentile last year. So obviously I know a lot of people जो 8 अटैम्प्ट करके आए थे और सर पकड़ के बैठ गए थे. सर पकड़ के तो बाद में बैठे ही थे, QA करते समय भी सर पकड़ के बैठ गए थे कि 8 ही अटैम्प्ट मैंने किया, क्या होगा, राइट? So this is a reminder to everybody that you have to fight after you finish your DILR section. Whatever has happened, you have to fight till the end, till your last drop of blood in the quant section. You should continue doing that. So 8 questions, 94 percentile. Just a little bit above 8 questions, 95 percentile. This is last year's numbers. And so the bands that I have, this thing based on the other numbers that I got was basically that this was the band of DI. 11 to 12 marks, 70 percentile. 17 to 18 marks, 85 percentile. 20-21 marks, 90 percentile. 25 marks 95 percentile, 30 31 marks 98 percentile, that means 10 questions correct. You got a 6 ka set done and you got a 4 ka set done, you get 98 percentile last year's paper. 40 पे चले जाओगे तो 99.5 percentile क्रॉस कर रहा है. 99 percentile crossed at around 33 34 in last year's paper. This is the numbers for 2020 CAT, right? This is the numbers for 2020 CAT. Now, what are the factors that are influencing these numbers? This is the band for, this is the DILR band, score band for 2020 CAT. Now, what are the factors that are influencing this band this year? So, first of all, what is influencing this band this year? Last year you had this available. This year you have only this available. This is not there. So isko hata diya inhone. So a chance to get 12 marks on a normal set of 8 to 10 steps is gone, right? And then on top of that, what they have done, if you look at the 6 question sets of last year, I've done some of them on YouTube also, showed you how to do it a week, 10 days, 15 days before the CAT. We did some sessions, you can go back and look at them. The 6 question sets were pretty controllable. You would control them. You could look at this, okay, this is the logic, and you do this step, then based on that you keep obeying instructions. Couple of steps mein idhar udhar tumko decide karna hai. But from what I've heard of slot 1 and what I saw in slot 3, there was one set which was almost undoable for anyone. The javelin throw set in slot 3, I think it was almost undoable. At least the 12-14 minute framework was undoable, because when the toppers enter DILR, they try to think I'll solve all 20, and this was not allowing you to get through. Or किसी ने इसको किया भी होगा, I don't think you can completely control the solution, because the other factor that happened in this six question set was that if I had a sheet that was this big and I could write everything properly, the analysis would have been complete. But you know, the sheet on which you are writing, it's a small page, and you don't have the canvas to write so many things in the clarity that you need to implement all the clues there. So this is one issue. So I think most of the people, I'm quite sure, तभी भी कोई bond लोग तो होंगे जो इसको भी कर लिए होंगे. I'm quite sure कुछ लोग तो होंगे. तो I don't know how 100% is getting affected there. But the first factor is, effectively यहाँ पे you had a shout of controlling all the 24 questions. Somebody who was well prepared could control all the 24 questions. This thing here, यहाँ पे most people were solving only out of 14, because this was completely out of control. And I think in slot 1 also something like this happened, and slot 2 maybe ये हुआ, right? So given this, you are solving only out of 14 questions. Last year paper में अगर तुमको एक सेट नहीं समझ में आया, सपोज 4 क्वेश्चन गए, 6 क्वेश्चन का भी सेट नहीं समझ में आया, तो तुम तभी भी 18 क्वेश्चंस के साथ सॉल्व कर रहे हो. तो यहाँ पे वो तुमको एस्केप रूट नहीं दे रहे हैं. ये 3 सेट अब तुमको निकालना ही है. प्रेशर गोज अप, इट गोज अप फॉर एवरीबडी कि अब मैं 14 क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ, 14 क्वेश्चन का ही सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ. आई हैव टू सॉल्व इट, एंड फॉर सम पीपल दिस माइट हैव बीन द फर्स्ट सेट दे ट्राइड. For others, this might have been the second set they tried. Lucky were those who solved these 14 questions and then came to this set. So they would have been lucky. So these were controllable. One was an easy set. One set was an easy set in all the papers. One DI set, mostly traditional DI, pretty easy. Easy in the sense that it required skills of quick thinking, quick calculations, but not something which you can't control. So if you're well prepared, your mind is in the right place, you have good calculation skills, you understand the variables being talked about, you've caught hold of all that, so you could control the set, right? This was like a wild tiger. This was like a domesticated fox. You would control him, right? उसको थोड़ा बहुत खाना खिला दो तो तुमको प्यार भी कर लेगा. और ये दोनों जो सेट्स थे, जो दूसरा एटलीस्ट स्लॉट 3 में दूसरा 4 क्वेश्चन का जो सेट था, वो मिक्सचर वाला, पी और आई वाला, उसके 1-2 क्वेश्चन तो नॉर्मल थे, बट द अदर 2 क्वेश्चन वर वेरी ट्विस्टेड. यू आर नॉट श्योर क्या हो रहा है इसमें, राइट? एंड वो भी टीटा पे था, तो क्या आंसर मार्क कर रहे हो, दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट श्योर. एंड व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस द अदर 6 क्वेश्चन सेट, दिस वाज कंट्रोलेबल. इट वाज नॉट ईजी. So these two were, this was very tough, almost not controllable. This was also bordering between tough and very tough. This was very tough. This was tough but controllable, and this was easy and controllable. So essentially, to get to 14 attempts also, you had to resolve this one also, and you had to resolve this completely. And इसमें भी एक दो क्वेश्चन ऐसे थे जो 4-5 क्वेश्चन तुमको मिल रहे थे based on the basic table, but for 1 or 2 questions you needed some more extra thinking, which you might not have had the time for to do it. So given this factor, first of all, the first downer, what is dragging down scores in DILR, is this, the fifth set not being there. So you are forced to choose between only 4 sets, right? You don't have an escape route. सामने आगे अब करना है इसको, क्या करोगे? And then the second downer is this set, and both these are huge drag downs on the band. So I will not be surprised if the band drops down by around 5 marks also, which is huge, because sectional wise अगर देखते हो, sectional normalization में देखते हो तो 2-3 मार्क का ही ऊपर नीचे होता है, but मेरे को gut feel जो लग रहा है ये 4-5 मार्क्स का भी ड्रॉप डाउन हो सकता है. मे बी नॉट एट 11-12 मार्क्स, बिकॉज एक सेट जो इजी वाला था DI वाला वो काफ़ी लोग ने कर लिया होगा, बट नॉट एट दिस पॉइंट. यहाँ पे ड्रैग डाउन हो सकता है 2-3 मार्क का हो, बट एट द अपर लेवल्स बिकॉज इफ़ यू वांटेड टू स्कोर 40 फॉर a 99.5 percentile, you would struggle to actually you would have to solve all the 14, or you had to get that 20-25 minute set through, which was almost मतलब एग्ज़ाम में वेरी डिफिकल्ट डिसाइड कि इसको करना है मेरे को, और इसको 10-12 मिनट के बाद कंटिन्यू करूँ इस पर और 10 मिनट लगाऊँ, बिकॉज यू आर वेरी शेकी एट दैट पॉइंट, राइट? और अगर तुम पहले 3 सेट करके 25 मिनट के बाद आए, यू हैव नो चांस ऑफ फिनिशिंग इट ऑफ इन द लास्ट 15 मिनट्स. So I think this is, I mean, there will be a huge drop in the higher echelons of scores, and what is happening in the 40-45 band last year would come down to the 35-40 band this year. That's what I'm thinking. So I would not be surprised if on the upper levels this band drops down by around 5 marks. So the 98 percentile can happen at around 25-26 also. हो सकता है कि 2 ही मार्क का ड्रॉप हो, बिकॉज ये अब ये मेजरमेंट नहीं है. दिस इज नॉट अ थर्मोमीटर मेजरमेंट दैट आई कैन डू, बट दिस इज अ गट फील मेजरमेंट. सो आई विल नॉट बी सरप्राइज्ड इफ दिस हैपेंस कि 5 मार्क ड्रॉप कर जाए, 25 मार्क्स पे 98 परसेंटाइल आ जाए, 20-21 मार्क्स पे 95 परसेंटाइल आ जाए, 31-32 मार्क्स पे 99.3 परसेंटाइल आ जाए, 28 मार्क्स पे, आई मीन 31-30, लेट्स जस्ट रिव्यू दैट. किसी को 31-32 अगर आ रहा है तो उसने 11-12 क्वेश्चन सही किए हैं. That's difficult in this session. My battery is failing, so I'll need to replace the battery of my audio. Okay, so I think my audio is back. Are you able to hear me or not now? I just need to get my camera aligned properly. Right. I'm just doing it in front of my camera. So I don't, obviously my photographer and all is not there at this point. So yeah, so are you able to hear me now? ठीक है. तो as I said, I will not be very surprised if there's a 5 mark drop on the DILR bands. 2-3 mark drop तो definitely guaranteed है. 4 क्वेश्चन कम है पेपर में, 24 के बदले 20 हैं. एक सेट कम है, एक सेट उड़ा हुआ है पूरा, एक सेट अनसॉल्वेबल है फॉर मोस्ट पीपल. सो 2-3 मार्क का ड्रॉप तो मतलब कहीं नहीं गया है. इट कैन बी अ 5 मार्क ड्रॉप ऑल्सो. माई गट फील सेज दैट, बट डोंट कम एंड ब्लेम मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, बट बिकॉज आई एम टेकिंग दैट लाइसेंस हियर, राइट. और DILR में लास्ट ईयर ये नंबर्स और भी थे. 30 मार्क्स पे 97.9, 32.51 पे 98.66, 36 पे 99.3 है. तो बैंड अगर देखोगे तो दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड 33-34 पे 99 परसेंटाइल के आसपास है यहाँ पे. This number tells me that 33-34 last year was 99. So 99 percentile might drop to somewhere around 30 or 29 this year, given the difficulty level of the paper, right? Mixture question, मतलब मुझे questions याद नहीं है, so I can't remember the exact question asked and I can't remember the exact answer there. So we'll just this thing. So answers मैं अभी डिस्कस नहीं कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज अभी मैं बैंड्स डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ. क्वेश्चंस में भी QA का क्वेश्चंस रीबिल्ड करके बता सकते हैं तुमको आंसर्स, ठीक है. बिकॉज DILR यू कैन, इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल टू कंस्ट्रक्ट दिस थिंग. लेट्स वेट फॉर अ वीक्स टाइम, उसके बाद मैं सॉल्व करवा दूंगा तुम लोग के लिए. आई सॉल्व. वो जैवलिन थ्रो मेरे को खुद भी काफ़ी क्यूरियोसिटी है कि जैवलिन थ्रो ऐसे सॉल्व कैसे होगा फाइनली. सो आई डेफिनेटली डू दैट एंड होपफुली आई विल बी एबल टू शो यू दैट. वो 12 मिनट के बाद बहुत ईजी था, बट लेट्स सी. QA का बैंड्स देख लो. QA का बैंड्स लास्ट ईयर 6.68 मार्क्स पे 54 परसेंटाइल. देखो व्हाट रिडिकुलस नंबर्स दिस आर. मतलब हाफ द पीपल, 1 लाख पीपल, मोर देन हाफ द पीपल, राइट. 54% people were below. Percentile means percent below. 54% people were below people who solved 2 questions correct last year. 75% people were below people who solve around 4 or 5 questions. 13 marks पे 75 परसेंटाइल है लास्ट ईयर के पेपर में. 17.8 मार्क्स पे 84 परसेंटाइल है. 16.57 16 के आसपास 80 परसेंटाइल है लास्ट ईयर. दैट मीन्स 5 and a half questions, 5 to 6 questions अगर तुम करेक्ट कर रहे थे तो यू आर हिटिंग लास्ट ईयर द बैंड ऑफ 80-85 परसेंटाइल, राइट. 20 मार्क्स पे 86 परसेंटाइल है, 86.85 परसेंटाइल है. 26 मार्क्स पे 92.98 परसेंटाइल है. दैट मीन्स 9 क्वेश्चंस करेक्ट पे यू आर हिटिंग 93 परसेंटाइल इन लास्ट ईयर्स पेपर. एंड आई थिंक इट्स अ जनरली एक्सपेक्टेड accepted answer logic that this year the number of questions that were difficult were much larger, and the fact that most of the questions in which you were solving where you had no clue of what range the answer will be, उसमें the answers were theta. So when you answered the question, जैसे मेरे slot में एक question था about 2 and 3 को use करके 1 2 3 से नंबर्स बनाना है, 4 डिजिट नंबर्स बनाना है और 2 3 को एटलीस्ट वंस यूज़ करना है. उसका आंसर 50 आया था. बट व्हेन आई वाज मार्किंग दैट 50 इट वाज करेक्ट अल्टीमेटली, बट व्हेन आई वाज मार्किंग दैट 50 आई हैड टू रीचेक वंस कि मैंने सब कुछ ले लिया, कोई केस छूट तो नहीं गया, बिकॉज द ऑप्शंस वर नॉट गिविंग मी एनी इंडिकेशन ऑफ दैट आंसर, राइट. So we'll keep coming that. We'll keep coming up to that. 34 मार्क्स पे 97 परसेंटाइल था. 35.51 मार्क्स पे 97.4 परसेंटाइल था. सो 11-12 क्वेश्चंस करेक्ट पे यू हैड अराउंड 97 परसेंटाइल इन दिस ईयर्स पेपर एंड इन लास्ट ईयर्स पेपर. एंड देन 40 to 42 बैंड पे यू हैड दिस 40 to 43 बैंड पे, दैट मीन्स 13 to 14 क्वेश्चंस करेक्ट, you had the 99 percentile. So if you look at the band of QA, this is the band of QA from 50 percentile to 99.5 percentile in last year's paper. So 5-6 questions पे 5-6 marks पे 50 percentile है, 13-14 marks पे 75 percentile है, 15-16 marks पे 80 percentile है, 18-19 marks पे 85 percentile है, right. 18-19 marks पे 85 percentile है. 23-24 पे 90 परसेंटाइल है, 26 पे 93 परसेंटाइल है, 34 पे 97 परसेंटाइल है, 37-38 पे 98 परसेंटाइल है, 43 पे 99 परसेंटाइल है, 49.99.5 percentile है. Now what are the factors that are going to affect this band, the Quants band? First of all, the ratio of easy to tough questions from last year to this year, there was a huge increase in the proportion of tough and lengthy questions, non-standard questions. Last year you had a lot of standard questions. This year you had I'm just trying to look at this thing. So we'll just keep coming back. I'll come to the chats a little bit later. या मैं उसके बाद after the session I'll do a chat session with you live on my from my seat. We'll talk about that. तो तुम लोग से जो discussion करना है वो बाद में कर लूँगा. तो the proportion of toughness was higher. So last year where every 4 or 5 questions में I showed you one 6 question का slot also. So most of them were sitters. At least 4 of them were sitters out of every 6 questions. इस साल you had only 2 or 3 sitters in every 6 questions. Even the arithmetic part questions required you to do some twists and turns before you got those correct. So that factor kind of drags the score down. That factor is dragging the score down. First factor. Second factor, very huge factor in QA, is 26 questions से जब तुम 22 questions पे आ जाते हो, and each question is an individual question, you have cut out the choice. You have cut out the choice by 15%. The drop in questions, in number of questions, 15%, right? So naturally, a 15% drop in the number of marks available at the top might not give you a 15% drop in the band, because the band will drop by a little bit less, but definitely a 5-7% drop तो होगा ही band में. 5-7% drop defined, I think that वो कहीं नहीं गया है band में, which means that again at a 40 mark level the band is dropping by 3 marks, right? And if you consider the toughness angle, actually तो 1,80,000 का numbers आने के बाद ही पता चलेगा बहुत tough था, बहुत lengthy था. ये noise वो 50 percentile के नीचे वाले लोग से भी create होता है, so इस noise को बहुत सुनना नहीं चाहिए हम लोग को. So we have to judge based on groups of questions etc. So but general feel जो मेरे को आया, CAT 20 पेपर अगर मैं solve कर रहा था और CAT 21 पेपर solve कर रहा था, तो I did not see that it was allowing me so many sitters to move quickly. And जो questions blitz solving हो रहे थे CAT 21 पेपर में, those questions were more like those questions, the blitz solved questions were more like those that allowed you to that you needed very strong foundational skills on that topic, which most people don't have. So that I'll show you one of the blitz solved questions that I did. वो मैं दिखा रहा हूँ, that's the bonus at the end of the session. We'll just come to that. So my prediction is maybe a 5-7% drop in the band. Gut feel also says that it can go as low as 10%. It can drop by maybe 10% also. But I think I'll plump, if I have to choose a figure, I'll think of a 5 to 7% drop in the band. That means at the 40 mark level, you're dropping by around 3 marks. So if you're looking at the 99 percentile band, I think 40 or below is that number. 40 or below is that number. So 40 or below for Quants, 40 or below for around 40 for verbal, and 30 for DLR. DLR में 99 percentile कहाँ था हमारा? Let's just look at that band again. Yeah, 33, 34 पे 5 mark drop पे 28 पे band आता है. Now that helps me now start predicting. So when I'm predicting overall percentiles, I'm predicting on 2 bases. One is that I've seen across my 25 years of teaching for CAT that if you have 99 percentile in all sections, you typically end up at a 99.8 overall. So this number tells me that 40, 28 and 40 gives me, or maybe a little bit less than 40 also here. So highest value for a 99.8 percentile here is 108. And the good news for you guys, especially those of you who are disappointed with the scores ki 100 लाना था मेरे को and all those things, could not get there. Good news for this guy, if you look at the conversion from 99.8 percentile to 99 percentile, and you will see that these proportions are almost same every year, because these are statistical numbers and they fall the same way in every year's paper. So if you look at the 99.8 to 99 drop CAT 2020, it was 120 marks versus 100 marks. That means 1/6 of the marks was gone. You look at CAT 19, the same thing. So if you shave off 1/6 of the marks, you are coming to 90 for 99 percentile. So this is logic. This is not gut feel. These are gut feels. So if these numbers change, that might change. But I'm still plumping for. I told you yesterday, my gut feel was 90-95. And because I was hearing other people saying 95, 100, etc., मेरे को नहीं लग रहा, मैंने 90 नहीं बोला. I didn't plump for more 90. But यहाँ logic से अगर देखूँगा, 1/6 shave off from here is 90. And typically, if you again look at 90 percentile, 99 percentile to 90 percentile, it's a 0.62, 0.63 multiplier. 62% of the 99 percentile score, 60 to 63, 62% of the 99 percentile score पे तुमको 90 percentile आता है. So if I multiply this by 60 to 63%, we are talking about 55 marks for the 90 percentile. This is the 99 percentiler and this is the 90 percentiler. And beach ka band will get defined based on these numbers, right? तो ये मेरे को एक लॉजिक से ये दिख रहा है. Now let's cross check this from the other logic कि लास्ट ईयर का पेपर का क्या बैंड्स था, परसेंटाइल्स, एक्चुअल स्कोर का परसेंटाइल क्या था, और उस परसेंटाइल के बेसिस पे, उस स्कोर और परसेंटाइल्स के बेसिस पे इस साल का बैंड तीनों सेक्शन में हम लोग को पता है कि 2 सेक्शन तो पुल डाउन हो रहे हैं, एक सेक्शन शायद पुल डाउन हो रहा है, शायद इक्वल रहेगा वर्बल का. तो ये तीनों सेक्शन के फोर्सेस के कारण हमारे नंबर्स और बैंड्स कहाँ जाएंगे. सो लास्ट ईयर का जो बैंड्स था ऑन द ओवरऑल परसेंटाइल, दिस इज द क्यूए नंबर्स. These are the QA numbers. हाँ, ये ओवरऑल नंबर्स हैं. 49 मार्क्स पे 80.74 परसेंटाइल, 63 मार्क्स पे 90 परसेंटाइल, 85 परसेंटाइल अराउंड 55 मार्क्स पे था लास्ट ईयर, और 70.5 मार्क्स एट 93 परसेंटाइल, 83 मार्क्स पे 96 परसेंटाइल है, 81 मार्क्स पे 96.38 परसेंटाइल है, 93-95 मार्क्स पे यू हैव गॉट around 98.27 से 98.49 percentile, and 104 marks पे 99.16 था, 101 पे I don't remember exactly, 99, 101 पे you had a 99 percentile, and 107 पे 99.32 था. I also know somebody got 119 and scored 99.74, that I remember from memory because I trained that guy for interviews. So this was the numbers last year, right? So the bands, if you look at, these are the bands. And as I mentioned yesterday, मेरा जो gut feel session था, which I did yesterday, उस gut feel session में what I thought was that this is dropping definitely. Quants में scoring was difficult, Quants में scoring was not available, 4 question कम available थे, DI में एक सेट हट गया था, एक सेट undoable था almost for most people. So the bands will keep coming down. Verbal initial feel was कि similar है, या थोड़ा सा down होगा because by default 10% questions तो कम, 8% questions कम हो गया ना. 26 question थे last time, इस time 24 है, 78 marks था last time, इस time 72 है, तो 8% तुम्हारा marks कम हुआ है, available marks. तो कुछ तो 2-3% तो down तो होना ही है उसको. That all those things. So that's why I predicted that this number of 99 percentile will drop down by around 5 marks and maybe dropping down by 10 marks. So the analysis from this angle shows me very clearly, again from that angle, कि 90 से 95 के बीच में 99 percentile रहेगा. अब I might be totally off, in which case I'll come back to you and apologize. I have no problem, but I wanted to show this to you through logic, and you can check this logic. You yourself can understand this. And if you want to check further, you can look at the CAT 20 paper question by question and then try to do that measurement and see how solid, how valid these assumptions are. Because ultimately assumption based ही है. तो मेरे को वही बैंड दे रहा है. मेरा दूसरा एनालिसिस जो है, the 99, 99, 99 वाला analysis is showing me that this is going to get closer to this band. That's normally for me that's a more accurate way of predicting. From the 99.8 I come down to the 99 and then I come down to the 690 percentile, तो ग्रुप मिल जाता है मेरे को. So अगर यहाँ पे 5 मार्क का ड्रॉप है, 5 मार्क्स का ड्रॉप है, तो 95 पे यू गेटिंग 99 परसेंटाइल. अगर 10 मार्क का ड्रॉप है, 8 से 10 मार्क का ड्रॉप है, तो 92, 93 पे 99 परसेंटाइल पॉसिबल इस टाइम. So that's what that's what is coming to my mind in this context. So one last thing, as I mentioned, as I promised, that question and the blitz solve of a Quants question. So there's this question in Quants which I remember most of the questions, but I'll pick up one of these questions और पूरा solutions मैं कर दूंगा तुम लोग के लिए. Even the javelin throw I'll solve once the question comes here, and of course solving after the event and inside the event are two different things. So this question was talking about two people running on a circle, and when they are running in the same direction, it said कि 45 minutes में let's call them AB. शायद B का नाम रूपा था, slow runner, I don't remember, but 45 minutes में the faster runner does 3 rounds more than the slow runner. In 45 minutes, the faster runner does 3 rounds more than the slow runner in 45 minutes. And if they run in opposite directions, they meet in 3 minutes. So the question was कि slow runner 1 घंटे में कितने राउंड करेगी. So this one I solved without almost writing anything. The thought was, and this is based on something that those of you from Mindworks who are watching this this thing in the time split distance class, I have talked about the fact that when you have a circle like this or movement between fixed points, the measures of distance can be kilometers, meters, centimeters, feet, or percentage. So what I did was I used that logic. I shifted the measure of distance to percentage. So I said that if I think of this circle as 100%, so my second information is that when they're running in opposite directions, they meet in 3 minutes. So this information tells me that their relative speed, addition of the speeds, is 33.33%. And then I said, and then this first information had to be used. The first information said that 45 minutes mein you had the faster runner run 3 rounds more than the slower one. So I said, okay, what if this 1 and 4? The faster runner runs 4 rounds. The slow runner runs 1 round in 45 minutes. So that means the slow runner's speed is in 45 minutes he's covering 1 round only. So per minute he's covering only 2.22%. And 100 divided by 45. And the faster runner is covering 4 rounds in 45 minutes. That means he's covering 1 round in 11.25 minutes, which means his speed is around 8% per minute, 8% of distance. Speed, as I told you, can be measured as meters per second, kilometers per hour, also percentage per minute. So I moved my analysis of speed into percentage per minute, and the sum of the two speeds I wanted was 33.33, because they're meeting in 3 minutes after, when they're moving in opposite directions. So 3 minutes में 100% cover कर रहे हैं, तो 33.33 per minute है, तो 1/4 is too less. So I straight away moved. I was trying to guess कि इसमें क्या होगा. 2.5 too small again. 3.6 I tried again. 3.6 में इसको 15 मिनट लगता है per round. तो इसका speed 6.66% per round है. इसको 7.5 मिनट्स लग रहा है पर राउंड. 45 मिनट्स में 6 राउंड अगर ये कर रहा है तो 7.5 मिनट्स पर राउंड लग रहा है इसको. तो 7.5 मिनट्स में 100% करता है तो 13.33 इसका स्पीड है. तो दोनों का सम ऑफ स्पीड सिर्फ 20 आ रहा है. सो दिस विल टेक 5 मिनट्स टू मीट. तो 3-6 इज नॉट वर्किंग. सो ईच ऑफ दिस 1-4 check, 3-6 check was maybe 5-5, 10-10 seconds each. 4-7 is unlikely to give you 33.33 because 7 के decimals बहुत ख़राब होते हैं. 5-8 में 33.33 आना मुश्किल है. So I straight away jumped to 6-9. And 6-9 पे analysis was that if this guy does 6 rounds in 45 minutes per minute, sorry, one round is taking 7.5 minutes. So the percentage context में speed is 13.33% per minute for this guy. And this guy, if he does 9 rounds in 45 minutes, that means he's taking 5 minutes per round. And if he's doing 5 minutes, 100% of the journey, that means his speed is 20%. So this gives me 33.33%. That means the slow runner does 6 rounds in 45 minutes. So how much does the slow runner do in 1 hour? Unitary method, 6 rounds in 45 minutes. How many rounds in 60 minutes? So that's 8. 1/3 बढ़ा दो, answer आ जाएगा. So this was the solution to this question. And as I keep telling you, if you're going to go conventional mathematical processes, algebraic processes, you're going to find it almost impossible to do through any this thing. And this whole process, I don't need to write to get through this answer. And there's 3 marks, 6 marks you're beating. Is साल 6 marks you're beating, I think 60% of your competition. Right, so that's it from my side today. I'm seeing a lot of chats. Unfortunately, I cannot look at those and answer right now. So next session में करेंगे उसको. Well, let's do a Ask Me Anything session maybe on Wednesday. I'm going to do a XLRA strategy session also during this week, and so that's it from my side. My team will kill me if I don't do the mandatory promotions that they keep telling me about. So we are starting a new batch for CAT 22 on 5th December on the Mindworks site. So you can, or on the Arun Sharma Academy app. Arun Sharma Academy app pe bhi you will have the option to buy this, to purchase this course. So if you want to be with me for a year, mentored by me for CAT. So one thing I tell my students right from the start, कि मैं तुम्हारे लिए काम नहीं करने वाला, तुमको काम करना है. I'll give you the directions of what to do. So this difference, if you're coming into Mindworks with a perspective कि हम लोग बहुत मेहनत करेंगे तुम्हारे ऊपर, we'll of course we have a system which will do it, but one thing I need you to remember and understand, and I think those of you who gave CAT yesterday know this, कि CAT is about how much self problem solving you do. There's a part of assisted problem solving that you take from for learning, but then ultimately every chapter, every question type, and every problem solving situation gets resolved by you. You can resolve it only if you are focused on self problem solving. Why 60% of the people don't even do three questions correct in Quants in a paper like this, where that solution is available, the one I just showed you, is because across the country, across preparation cycles that I see, people are only dependent on assisted problem solving. You know, there are $1 billion apps nowadays कि तुम जो डाउट बोलोगे तुम्हारा सॉल्यूशन मिल जाएगा. वैसे पढ़ाई नहीं होती है. I'm slightly more conventional that way in that context. So if you want to come into Mindworks, don't come with that expectation कि रात को 12 बजे तुमको डाउट होगा तो मैं तुमको कूद के बता दूंगा कि वो डाउट का सॉल्यूशन क्या है. We believe that doubts are good. जैसे वो सर्फ एक्सेल का जो ऐड था ना कि दाग अच्छे होते हैं, तो उसी तरह से we believe that doubts are good. And आइंस्टाइन ने भी बोला था कि I could see more inside problems when people asked him about his problem solving skills. He said that I could see more inside problems because I stayed with the problems longer. So our philosophy is going to be that. So 5th December is that course. And those of you who've been waiting for a general aptitude course, we'll be starting a general aptitude course on the Arun Sharma Academy app around 15th December. That's a general aptitude course for Quants, LR and Verbal. Quants and LR will mostly be taken by me. Verbal will be taken by Meenakshi ma'am. But this is for the exams CSAT, CET Maharashtra, because these are exams people are asking us for. So this general aptitude course will cover CSAT, CET Maharashtra, IP MAT, where you don't need to go to the level of CAT problem solving, where if you just do the standardized questions, you should be ready. It is also going to be relevant for bank aspirants as well as SEC aspirants. इनके लिए कोर्स 15 दिसंबर को स्टार्ट होगा on the Arun Sharma Academy. So you can contact us, etc. for this. We'll come back with details of this later. Chalo, I hope you guys enjoyed this session. I hope you can just subscribe to the channel if you have not already done that, and do share the videos and do comment on the videos. As I said, I look at every comment, including the one that talked about me not looking at the camera too much. But I think I modeled my public speaking on Tom Peters, and very early in my public speaking career, when I started deciding that I'll be a public speaker, very early, I'd seen a photograph. उस time तो उतना media नहीं था. I'd seen a photograph of Tom Peters doing a session with a full crowd of maybe 1,000 executives, and most of those would be CEOs and all, because Tom Peters was one of the top management gurus at that time. And in that audience, those people are sitting, and Tom Peters had his back to them. He was not even looking at them. So I've modeled my public speaking, because I believe that if you've got strong content, you don't need to do all that hangama between you and the camera. You can just be relaxed and present your content. So that's what I personally believe in. But yeah, I'll try to, there's always scope for improvement. So I'll try to improve that if that's a feedback.